This is my official hello to everybody watching. Thank you for joining. I know I just threw this together at the last second, so I just posted 5 minutes ago that I'm going to be doing this, and now here we are. So I decided to go live again for this upcoming quarters, points, and miles strategy. That way, hopefully you guys can ask questions in the chat that's going along with this video, and I can hopefully answer them live if they're questions that I know the answers to. That is the hope. So the world is a very interesting place right now. If you're watching this after it's been recorded live, right now it's Monday, March 30th, 2020. And me and my family have been self-quarantined since March 14th. So we are on day 17 here. Everything happened pretty fast, the week of March 9th through the 13th, I guess it was. We went from, it's nothing too urgent, it's not really happening here, we don't really need to do anything, to whoa, should we be doing something different? And what the heck is going on? And there wasn't any government requirements to do anything at that point, and so it was kind of up to individuals what we did as far as are we going to self-quarantine, are we going to social distance, are we going to switch to working from home, and whatever. So if you're just joining us, I'm just kind of getting into where I'm going with this. The reason I'm giving all this background is because this is a very unique time in all aspects, but especially in the points and miles world, because travel has completely changed temporarily, and therefore it's pretty likely that our strategy is going to be different than it normally would if the world were not such as it is right now. So anyway, so that week of March 9th through 13th, everything kind of happened fast. It went from nobody really thinks much of it to all of a sudden hey. So I think it was the last kind of public thing that I did was on Friday, March 13th, because I had a photo shoot scheduled for a new business partnership, and we decided to go ahead and do it even though things were increasingly getting weird. I think that was the day that they announced that all the schools in our state would be closed the following Wednesday, and everyone was like, why are we waiting until Wednesday? Isn't that going to be too late? And sure enough, by that Sunday night, the governor had ordered that all schools would be closed effective immediately. So nobody went back to school after Friday the 13th in our state. So yeah, anyway, the world has changed a lot. And so now my family is on day 17 of what we're calling shelter in place, or safer at home. I don't know. The names of things keep changing and the rules keep changing, and there's just a lot changing right now. So I am here today to talk about how I'm putting together a point strategy for second quarter 2020 with all the changes that are going on in the world. If you are watching and you have questions that you would be interested in having me answer during our live stream, go ahead and post them in the live chat, and I will get to those at the end. So I'm not gonna stop and answer in the middle, but I will get to those questions at the end. So keep them coming. I'll remind you guys about that as we go. So my point strategies normally have a lot to do with the Chase Freedom categories for that quarter. So if we look, this is where it's just kind of, yeah, I don't know. Okay, we'll just get right to it. Sorry, this is live, so I'm just going to be doing this the way that it is. So the quarter two categories for the Chase Freedom are grocery stores, fitness clubs, and gym memberships. And I don't know about every state in the United States or how this is in other countries right now, but fitness clubs and gyms are closed, along with all other non-essential businesses. Grocery stores are open and should remain open throughout, however long this ends up lasting. So we have legitimately one category to work with in the Chase Freedom categories for second quarter, and that is grocery stores. Now, Grocery stores does not count like the super stores like Super Walmart or Super Target. So at least typically it doesn't. You might have one that codes as that, but it's unlikely. None of them around here do for us. And also like warehouse clubs like Costco and Sam's Club, those don't work under the grocery category either. So you have to actually go to like a traditional grocery store or supermarket to get the benefit of the 5% cash back. Well, they call it cash back. The 5% ultimate rewards points that you get back on the Chase Freedom card this quarter. So you've heard me say this before if you've watched my other strategy videos. Whenever there's grocery store or pharmacy or like a number of other things, office supply stores is another one. Those places typically have gift card kiosks, and that means that you can actually maximize your spend in that category a lot by buying gift cards for other stores that aren't getting a 5% back that quarter. So most of the traditional grocery stores in my neighborhood and area do have a gift card kiosk, and under normal circumstances, I would go in several different times throughout the quarter and get gift cards for other places that I want to go. Usually they'll have them for like various restaurants. They'll have them for the Google Play Store, Apple, iTunes, different airlines. Southwest and Delta are ones that come to mind. Yeah, restaurants. They also will have like Visa gift cards. Those are not ones that you want to get because those do have a fee. And that negates the points that you're going to get by getting those. So I normally would go into the grocery store and kind of stock up on whatever restaurant I'm really digging at the time lately. Like before all this started, I was really into Panera. I just wanted to like eat this one sandwich from Panera like every day. And now I haven't had it in like 20 days. So I'm not going into the grocery stores at all. I'm like not going anywhere except on walks in the woods near my house or in my neighborhood. My husband is the one who's like our designated go get groceries person right now. He seemed like the least risk person in our household to like actually send out there. But so far we've only been doing grocery shopping by like ordering stuff for pickup. So nobody's gone into a grocery store and in our family. And I don't know how things are going to be, a month, 2 months, 3 months from now, if we're going to even really be able to take huge advantage of that category. I guess one thing I should say is I'm sure this is true for a lot of families too, that spending habits here have changed a lot. Like we're not spending much at all. We're a family that normally eats out like every day, usually once, sometimes twice. And we haven't been eating out at all. We've ordered takeout now 2 times and it's been lovely, but there's a level of fear that comes with that too. Just any time that we're exposing ourselves to like the outside world at all, it's kind of like, we're taking a risk here, but we hope it's going to be okay. So it's like the credit card statements are coming and paying the statement balance or the full balance as we always do. Like we have multiple credit cards that are just at a 0 balance right now, which is wonderful as far as we don't ever take on debt anyway, but like there's no debt to be had at the moment. And so we, what am I trying to say? I lost my train of thought. So we're just like paying these cards off as they come in, as the bills come in, and then there's no spending going on beyond that. So, very little, because a lot of our major expenses were eating out and like going places, doing things, and we're not doing any of that right now. And so it's very weird. It's hard to come up with a strategy because I know I can tell you for sure, like, I don't think there's any way we're going to maximize our strategy for this coming quarter. If the only option we have is grocery stores and we're not comfortable really going into grocery stores right now to maximize out on on gift cards, we're probably not really doing a lot of that. And we're getting most of our groceries from superstores that we can order stuff online and pick up. So those aren't going to count either. Although we might consider trying some other like smaller grocery stores that are allowing orders and pickups just to see. And, you know, those would count towards the 5% category. So it's so hard to say because I feel like things are changing like daily almost as far as the circumstances in the world. So it is a very strange time that we're living in, and I've never had to put together a quarterly strategy under such strange circumstances. So just to give you a little background on like our situation here, we are a 100% self-employed household, and that is both good and bad. We're fortunate that both of the businesses I own can be pretty easily operated online. So my music school, we've already had a plan in place that we've used on like bad weather closings where our teachers just teach online through video chat, and it's worked really well. We've been doing that for like 10 years. So this is not anything new. And a lot of our students have already experienced having a music lesson online. And so this isn't like something new and scary and like another big change they have to adjust to in an already stressful time. So we're really happy about that. We've already done 1 full week of the online lessons, and then we had a week of spring break, and now we're just starting our 2nd week of online private music lessons. The cool thing about that too is that it opens up doors for us to take more students at maybe more ideal times of the day, because kids are not in school. All the schools are closed in our state and in, I think, the entire United States, and a lot of other countries too. So that means we can maybe schedule some lessons like earlier in the day, at times when kids are like a little more having an easier time paying attention to what's being presented to them, and their brains are more apt to learn at earlier times of the day, even if it's like mid-morning, mid-afternoon. Normally our lessons don't begin until well after school time. So we start at about 3:30 in the afternoon and we go to like 8 or 9 p.m. most weeknights. So one big advantage is that we can do those lessons earlier in the day if we want. Another thing is that with everything being online, of course, it opens up the opportunity for more people from more places to sign up for lessons with us. So surprisingly, we've had a couple of new students come through and register, which I honestly did not expect at all. And we haven't had anybody quit, which I also didn't expect, but I'm just really pleased that people are kind of hanging in there with us and supporting our school and really valuing their kids' music education. So that's been awesome. So my other business, it's called Elevated Business Services, is already almost like, it's like 99% online. I would occasionally do an in-person meeting with people or arrange to like drop off and pick up stuff. So what Elevated Business Services is an accounting, bookkeeping, and overall business services firm. And it's just me so far. And so I help people start businesses, like if they want to establish an LLC or do a nonprofit, start a nonprofit. And I do personal taxes, business taxes. I do bookkeeping for small to large businesses. I do virtual assisting for some companies where I'm like their full virtual office manager, basically. And I've been doing all of that online for about 1.5 years. And like when we went to Mexico last August for the whole month, I was able to run that business. Like people wouldn't have even known that I was gone because I worked my normal hours and I was able to take phone calls and everything from there. So I've been really fortunate that both of my businesses work well online. My husband owns a business that does digital archiving. So he takes people's like old photos and slides and videos and stuff and puts them onto digital media like a hard drive, or like some people want DVDs and stuff like that. So he was having pretty steady work up until this all happened, and then it kind of stopped because people are more hesitant to have things dropped off and picked up, because he does have to have the actual physical media in order to make it possible to put it onto digital. So but that's okay. My businesses have been really busy, so I'm grateful for that. So hey, anybody out there, if you want to have music lessons, let me know and we can hook you up. It's academyofsound.org if you want to do that, if you want to visit our website. So, and for those of you that are just joining the live feed, if you have questions about anything relating to credit card, points, miles, just whatever is going on in the world, please leave it over in the live chat and I will get to those at the end of this. So back to the point strategy for second quarter 2020. Like I said, Chase Freedom has the grocery category, which is going to be the only one that matters this quarter. I guess the gym memberships and fitness clubs, like that could be a thing if you feel pretty confident that those businesses are going to be open relatively soon, like this year, I guess. If you feel confident in that, you could contact a gym or fitness place and prepay your membership. And I'm sure they would appreciate that because I'm sure this is really, really hard on those kind of businesses. So if you're interested in gyms or fitness clubs, you could most definitely reach out to one and take advantage of the 5% category on the Chase Freedom card for second quarter. So yeah. Other than that, like I'll kind of just go down the list of like the normal cards that I use for different things. Just this is entirely based on just what I have. This is not advice to anybody. This is just saying like, here's what I do, take it or leave it. So let's see. So I have the Capital One Spark for business. That's a pretty new card to me. And so I already am past the minimum spend for the first bonus. My plan was to go for the really big bonus where I think you had to spend $50,000 in the first 6 months. I was going to do that, but the methods by which I was doing that have completely dried up. And so now I'm kind of not doing that. So I'm not really using that card at all except for expenses for that particular business. It gets 2%. It calls it miles, but they act more like points. They have their own travel portal. This is Capital One Spark. So they have their own travel portal where you can book things with those miles, but and I mean, you can transfer them to some airlines and then they become miles, but there's a different ratio. It's not always a 1-to-1 ratio. So there's lots of things you can do with them. They're fairly flexible points. I don't know that they're super, super valuable. They're definitely not like ultimate rewards points, but they're pretty decent. It was worth getting and I'm glad that I have it. So it gets 2% on all purchases and then it gets 5% on hotel and rental car purchases that are through the Capital One travel portal. Okay. So that is the Capital One Spark for business. There are a bunch of versions of that card. So if you're looking into that for business, definitely go to their website and look through and compare the different cards. So next on the list is the Chase Sapphire Preferred, which I use typically just for personal dining. So non-business related dining. It gets 2%. That covers fast food, coffee shops, all of that, but we're really not doing any of that right now, and that's really sad. So that card is just sitting there with a 0 balance right now. I went through the Chase Freedom card. So then there's the Chase Freedom Unlimited, which gets 1.5% on everything. And that's kind of my like backup plan card for anything that doesn't get points in a bonus category on any of my other cards. So if you've watched my other point strategies before, a lot of this is going to be repeat information, but hey, it's always good to kind of like hear it again and do that. So, okay. And remember, if you're just joining, if you didn't hear me say this before, please leave your questions in the live chat and I will get to those at the end. So now we're going to talk about the Chase Ink cards. So there are 3 of them. The highest tier is the Chase Ink Preferred, and these are all business cards. The Ink Preferred gets 3%. Well, okay, so they earn ultimate rewards points. I should just preface with that. So the Ink Preferred earns 3% on travel, 3% on shipping, and 3% on advertising on search engines and social media. So I have that card set up as the auto pay card for like all of my domains. And like, I'm not running any ads right now, but like when I do Facebook or Google ads, obviously those things go on there because it's the only card I know of that gets a bonus on those types of purchases. So that's the Ink Preferred. The next tier is the Ink Unlimited, and that's, again, a business card. It earns ultimate rewards points through Chase, and that one is just like the Freedom Unlimited. It earns 1.5% on everything. And so this is my fallback card for anything business related that doesn't have a bonus category on any of my other business cards. And next is the Ink Cash, perhaps one of my favorite cards. It is wonderful because it doesn't have an annual fee, but it gets 5% on office supply stores, 5% on cell phone, like your cell phone bill, 5% on internet, cable, and TV, and then 2% on business dining. So that's what I use that one for, is all of those things. That's probably my most frequently used business card because it gets bonuses in the categories that I spend the most on for business. I also have the Amazon Visa, which gets 5% back in Amazon rewards, so that's nice. The Target Red card, I'm just like not using at all. I might have said this in another video too, but I am like not happy with the new layout they made at the Target stores. I really don't like it, so I find it very unpleasant to go to Target. So I will only use this card if I'm like ordering stuff from Target, because then it gives you like free shipping. What else? Okay, the Delta Sky Miles American Express earns 2% on Delta purchases, but unfortunately I'm not comfortable planning travel yet during this time because I don't really know when things are going to be open. So I'm going to just go off on a little bunny trail right here. So we oddly did not have any travel planned when all of this change stuff in the world came about, which is really unusual for us because, as you know, we like to travel and we like to travel frequently. And it's so weird because it's almost like I just couldn't plan travel. I don't know how to explain it, but like leading up to this, before any of this was even a thing, I felt like gridlocked. Like every time I would start looking into like a place that we wanted to go, or even like going back to a familiar place, I would just like get stuck. I would end up not booking anything. So it was really weird, and that's not exactly like me because I'm one who will just like pull the trigger pretty quick. Like I decide I want to go somewhere and it happens to be next week that I want to go. Like I'm usually quite comfortable just like, do it, let's go. And I don't know, like ever since the beginning of 2020, I just haven't been able to do it. So like we had a wedding that would be coming up in June. A cousin of mine was going to be getting married in Las Vegas, and my sister happens to live in Las Vegas too. So it was like, oh, cool. Yeah, we could go and spend like, a week there and like go see some stuff. We don't really like Vegas itself, but like the surrounding area, the national parks. We could even swing over to the Grand Canyon. So we were going to make it like this family trip thing. And we ended up I don't know what it was. Strangest thing. I kept like looking at the fares and they were not expensive and I just didn't do it. So all of that to say, like when all this came about, we didn't have any travel that got canceled. We didn't have to cancel any travel ourselves. We didn't have to make any tough decisions about whether we were going to just like try to plow through and like go where we were going to go. And I know a lot of people who did have travel planned, a lot of people, and it sucks. Everybody's just stuck right now. The weird thing is about this, like, I don't feel stuck. I feel okay. And I think, short of like my one teenage daughter, I think she's having the hardest time out of like our family with kind of coping with the social distancing stuff. I'm fine. Like, it's another weird thing that like that week of March 9th, I got together with like all 4 of my closest friends, like sat down for coffee or like had one of them over and we went out to lunch and like sat down for coffee with another one. I say coffee, by the way, I don't drink coffee, I drink tea, but my friends all drink coffee. So they were drinking coffee and I was drinking tea. And anyway, so so like I had these like hours long visits with all of my closest friends the week before everything kind of went crazy. So I feel like I got that time in with them, and it was like really good quality time, like totally catching up, and like left each of those feeling really like connected again and feeling like we're all caught up on all of the latest things. And so I don't know. And that was like, that's a lot of like social get-togethers for me for a week. That's a lot. I'm an introvert. I'm a social introvert. Let's put it that way. Like I love to get together with my friends and socialize with them, but afterwards I'm like tired and just kind of want the peace and quiet and just to like have time to myself to like do something quiet. And so having 4 big, long, like, you know, some of these were like 5 or 6 hour long things where we would like sit and talk. That was a lot for me. And I really actually enjoyed it, but it was odd that I felt that I could handle scheduling all of that over the course of just 1 week. And then all of a sudden, bam, like everything's closed, everything's different. Now we're not getting together in person anymore. I did have a Google Hangouts tea with my friend Julia last week, and that was great. Like we both made our tea and we sat and talked for an hour and caught up. So I think that's how I'll be doing like the social stuff, is just like pretending like we're together, but we don't actually have to be. So yeah, and with the fact that I work online so much anyway, I'm used to kind of being in this office like by myself, getting stuff done all day, and so it doesn't bother me. But I have been more intentional about going outside every day, especially since it's starting to get nicer here. So I live in the Midwest, and it's like a week ago it was snowing. Less than a week ago it was snowing. And now it's like 54 degrees today, which feels like real true spring. And so I have been very intentional about like going for a pretty long walk every day and being outside with the kids. And like we even, if it's not nice out, like yesterday it was kind of storming all day, like we go for a drive. So we at least get out of the house, but without having any like risk of interacting with people. People around here have been really good too, like on the trails and stuff, about just like keeping good safe distance. Today when I was walking, there were these like 2 like older ladies. I'm gonna guess they were in their late 60s, and they were walking like together but like 6 feet apart. So I think that they're just like friends, you know, and they wanted to go on a walk together, but they were keeping good distance. And so I was approaching, like they're over here like walking towards me, and I'm approaching, and I assume, because what everybody does is they just go closer together and go off to the side, and then I go off to the other side as we pass each other. But they did the opposite. They like spread further apart. And so I was like, oh, do I go like in the middle, or do I try to go like way around? I wasn't sure what to do. So as I got a little closer, one of the ladies said, "It looks like we'll split the difference." So I kind of laughed, and then I figured out what they were doing. And so yeah, I went through the middle. So they were each like about 10 feet on either side of me, which was, you know, it's perfect. People are being really good about it, and I'm happy about that. And it's good to see people like being outdoors and I don't know, like enjoying their families. It's very different right now. It's just like everything has a different feel to it. Like I said, like we normally eat out a lot, and so with us not doing that, it's like we're cooking at home. I'm cooking. I actually can cook. I just don't enjoy it at all. And so but I'm doing it like, you know, at least every other day for dinner, and we actually like eat dinner together, and my teenager doesn't complain about it anymore. I think she actually kind of likes it. I don't know if she's watching this or not, but anyway, if you're just joining us, feel free to leave questions in the live chat, and I will get to those at the end. I'm just kind of going off on a bunny trail about how things are in the world. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. So if you have questions, send them through now, and I'll try to get to those after I kind of get done here. So I stopped last with the Ink Cash business card. No, I didn't. That's not true. The last one I did was the Delta Sky Miles, and then I started talking about how nobody's traveling and how we didn't have any travel planned, which is odd for us. The Barclay card Aviator, That card gets 2% on American Airlines purchases, but again, same story as the Delta card. Like, it's just not getting used right now. I see some new people coming in, so if you have questions, please leave them in the live chat. I'm going to be wrapping it up soon here, and I'll get to those questions at the end if there are any. I don't see any questions yet, so if you have them, put them through. Or if you don't have any questions, tell me how you're doing and how you're coping with everything. Okay, so what else do I have? The United Mileage Plus Explorer card. That one gets 2% on United purchases, but like I said about the other airline cards, it's there's not much you can do with it right now. I mean, you can book travel right now if you want to, but there's not a guarantee that it's going to happen. So, and then I also have a Disney Visa, but for the first time, I think ever, the Disney is closed. Like Disney World, Disneyland, all the Disneys all across the world are closed right now. And I don't think that's ever happened before. Disney World doesn't close for anything. I've seen them open like during hurricanes coming through. Like they are not closing. So I think it's very wise that they did. That's my personal opinion, but it's really weird to think that Disney's not going on right now. It kind of does make me want to plan another Disney trip after this is all over. So one question that I asked on my personal Facebook was, what are you going to do when this is all over? And I'm going to pull that up right now because there were some really good answers. So I said, what are you going to do when this is over? Both serious and funny responses are encouraged. So my friend Andrea says, I'm getting a new tattoo and I want to have a party with everyone I know and get shit-faced, hug, and sing songs. Adam can play the guitar. Adam's my husband. He's a guitar teacher. And I said, count us in. Let's see. A serious one is I want to spend time with friends and family in person, go to the art museum and the zoo, and get back to my choir job. Yeah, I could see if I was in a choir right now, I would miss that a lot. I love choirs. I haven't been in a choir for probably like 4 years, but when I was, man, oh, anybody else in choirs? There's something so powerful about singing as a group. I don't know. If you haven't been in a choir, I mean, try it if you want to. Most people who are in choirs as adults do it because they were in a choir as a kid and really loved it. Yeah. If you're just joining us, please know that if you have any questions for me, leave them in the live chat and I will get to those as soon as I'm done kind of wrapping this up. So, let's see. One of my friends says, go to Target. Right now I'm going through a Facebook post that I made about what are you going to do when all of this is over. So she says, go to Target. Someone else says, have lunch with someone somewhere and go to a movie. My friend Emma says, go to Maine and hug my Nana. She'll be 92 at the end of May. Wow. Travel. One of my friend Julia says that she's going to travel and come to Andrea's party. Another friend, this is on a more serious one, try to carry forward all the improvements I have used this time to make. Daily meditation, working out, healthy meal prep, not getting lost in the rat race again. Never taking anything for granted. Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting to see how long we as individuals and as a society actually hold on to the things that changed while we're sheltering in place. And I hope some of those things stay, because there's definitely some value in slowing down and not spending so much and not wasting so much and all of that. But I do look forward to traveling again. What else? Hug every single person. I'm not a hug person, but I appreciate those who are. I really do. One of my friends says she's going to hop on a plane to go see her daughter who lives across the pond. Her daughter lives in England right now. What else? Try again to take a vacation. That's from a friend whose vacation got canceled for spring break time. and get to know my neighbors better. One friend says, never use the term unprecedented again. I'm guessing he's watching. He knows who he is. More live music, theater, and dance. And one of my friends just an hour ago says, go through your pockets for valuables. Thanks, Drew. If we lived anywhere near each other, I'm sure that wouldn't happen, actually. Okay. So, all right. So I kind of went through my strategy. Like I said, this is the weirdest one I've ever done, this strategy for quarter 3. It is very different because spending is different and travel is different and Disney is closed. I don't even know. Oh, okay. So let me know. I didn't get any questions or anything in the live chat. So if you are watching this after it has aired, please go ahead and leave those in the regular comments if you have questions. And then also just kind of generally wondering how you guys are doing. How's everybody coping with this? Are you working? Was your work able to transfer online? Are you starting a business because you need to do something? Are you driving Uber Eats right now to get by? I would love to hear what you guys are doing. And that's all I've got. So it was not much about point strategy and a lot about the world being weird. So I guess that's what we're calling it. The world is weird and second quarter strategy 2020. All right, you guys. I'll see you with a better put together video sometime, but I just thought we would just live stream this because of questions. And also, my hair hasn't been cut in a really long time and it's kind of just insane because all the hair places are closed. So anyway, I apologize. My hair is kind of just doing its own thing. Okay. You guys take care. Everybody stay home if you can. Thank you to those of you who are kind of on the front lines, saving the lives out there and not able to stay home. I hope everybody stays well. Let me know how you're doing, and we will see you soon.